21 years of pushing good music, most importantly to radio. When people are like, oh, focus on TV, you never did. And you know what's awesome about tonight? That I actually met your sister and I saw your father on stage.
Yeah, you met my parents tonight. You know, dude, every year during the CMJ convention, we always do an open bar thing and we do something big for radio, press, and industry. And my parents never came. And my mom is like, oh, dude, I got to come. I got to go. So I got a car to bring him into the city. We roped off a section. They sat down. And, dude, my mom drinks more than half of my friends. Go figure. She's 80.
Italian.
Dude, she's 80 years old, and she drinks more than half of my friends. And she's like, okay, it's time for us to go. We're going to go. And she's like, oh, tell the car to take us to the World Trade Center. I was like, oh, yeah, have fun. It's all good. You know, I got you the car for the night. You know, go do your thing, you know. But seriously, you know, it's not so much really like the convention. Every convention is really about, well, radio's in, you have press and retail and, you know, pretty much industry. Everybody's here. So the whole concept is, you know what? Let's just have an open bar. Let's do something cool. Let's showcase 3 really good bands for everybody for the night. And at the end of the night, you know, everybody leaves and they got their drink on, they got their buzz on, everything's cool. And what they see, and even tonight, they got to see Slam One Down, brand new band that nobody's really heard of, from New Jersey, throw down some good thrashcore. They got to see FREYA throw down some really cool hardcore, and Killcode throw down some rock and roll. And not to mention, Geoff Tate from Queensrÿche doing a surprise 35-minute set.
Quite a treat.
Quite a treat. Now, it was really supposed to be a surprise, but the stage was running a little late, so as everybody was coming in the door and getting alcohol, there was still sound check. Everyone was like, hey, man, isn't that Geoff Tate sound checking on stage? What's going on here, dude? And I'm like, wow, there goes my surprise.
Tonight we played the CMJ metal showcase show at Webster Hall in Manhattan. And Munsey from Skateboard Marketing, that's a company that, you know, promotes like hardcore and metal music to terrestrial radio. He kind of handpicked us for this and brought us down, and it was awesome. It was. We played a lot of different clubs here, but this was our first time at Webster Hall.
And of course, as we know, this is a very corporate venue. So it's cool that they still accept a few of us here to do our thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, the show was well attended. Everyone was really cool, and I think everything was, you know, pretty professionally run, except for like after the show. Yeah, it's a little chaotic, but that's going to happen. Big deal, you know?
It's nothing you haven't seen before.
Exactly, yeah.
So, Karl, as far as FREYA, I mean, obviously, everybody knows your face because of Earth Crisis. And Earth Crisis is already like, it's probably like 2 years ago. It was one of those bands when I growing up in Colombia, from the whole hardcore culture. Earth Crisis is one of those bands that stands out. But as far as like FREYA, what are you guys doing that is different from all the other bands who are like trying to do something nowadays?
I think, you know, when we started FREYA a little over 10 years ago, our goal was to have a band where we could be experimental musically and combine different styles. And, you know, probably put more melody into things, guitar-wise, than, like, let's say Earth Crisis would. Or, like, with FREYA, like on All Hail the End and on the new record. Hey, get the dog. He's pretty cute.
We love dogs, of course.
Love dogs and cats. Cats are good,
of course.
I like his face.
So, dude, he's like, he goes on stage, and I'm like, and I get out my BlackBerry. I'm like, okay, great. Let me tweet it and put it on Facebook and do my stuff. And there's already tweets and pictures on my Facebook of Geoff Tate on stage at our shindig during the CMJ convention. I'm like, dude, I'm supposed to be doing that. But you know what? Regardless, it was really, really cool. And, you know, dude, the guys at Webster Hall and everybody, well, dude, how good were they to us tonight?
Amazing.
Dude, they were really good to us tonight. And stop, and look at this. Look at the line, and look at all the people here. You know, now...
It is definitely the hottest venue in the city right now, period. And you've seen a lot in the last 21 years, but this is the hottest venue right now.
This is like the place, and you know what? Next year, we're gonna do our showcase here next year, and you know, listen, I really like it here, and I like the promoters. I like everybody here. I know them forever, and they've always been really good to us. So why change? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know, listen. We did the whole thing with ReverbNation. It was great, you know. Obviously, you guys came in. And, dude, by the way, driving the tables, that was awesome tonight. I went to the bathroom. I come back. I'm like, oh, dude, that's Machine Head cranking on. I'm hearing thrashcore, and I'm hearing good stuff tonight. Metalcore. Schuften throwing down some metalcore tonight, dude.
I can't disappoint you.
Oh, dude, that was awesome. It was amazing.
You know, Earth Crisis, musically, I think is, you know, it is experimental in and of itself, but it's usually like a very aggressive approach, and it's very direct with its message. And with FREYA, you know, I write about all kinds of different things, whether it's religion or history or interpersonal things. So every album has a theme that kind of goes along with one of those ideas. And we wrote a new record over the last 2 years. We recorded it over the winter. It's going to be called Paragon of the Crucible, and it's 10 new songs, and we played some of them here tonight.
What is that coming out next, like the next
probably,
4 months or so?
Well, maybe a little bit longer, because my guitarist Flynn, he does all of our merch designs and our album cover artwork. He's a painter, and he's definitely not going to rush it, you know. So whenever it's done, yeah.
And it's awesome that we ran into the dog right now, because I know you've always been a huge, not only animal lover person, but when it comes down to like the culture of hardcore, it's always been like, hey, stand out for what you believe in. And when people say like straight edge, they have the misconception about what straight edge is. But I mean, I'm not a straight edge at all. That's why I can say this.
I can tell, because you smell like whiskey.
No, beer.
Oh, beer, okay. Sorry.
But I respect it for sure.
Right, and that's the thing, you know, it's like, FREYA, I'm the only straight edge guy in that band. But again, you know, everyone in that group as well agrees with the concept of animal rights. You know, no one's vegan in FREYA other than me, but, you know, we have songs like Down to the Last, which is about whaling or overfishing, and we also have another song on an earlier record called Struggle to Survive about vivisection. So even with FREYA, you know, we touch on those subjects as well. Try to promote kindness towards animals through the music.
What's in the agenda for Earth Crisis right now?
First and foremost, the FREYA record is recorded. It will be coming out. We are going to be, you know, getting more active now that we're out of the studio. And Earth Crisis is going to start composing probably in the spring. Yeah, so there'll be another new record on the way for that band as well.
Oh, dude, listen. You have to support the local scene. The downside of the local scene is half of the people within the local scene try and say, hey, man, it's part of the local scene, but they're really not part of the local scene, you know, which is a downside, you know. I mean, there's a lot of posers out there. But tonight, everybody who had something to do with something decided to come out. Dude, you're going to get hit in the head with this bicycle wheel in about 30. Oh!
Can you please move?
Yes, we are going to move right now.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Sit down, dude. We're doing an interview.
No, but she's got to go through.
You're on my doorstep. I live here. It'd be really nice if you moved.
No, well, I don't want to move. So, you know. Yeah, so are you, sweetheart. Sit down, bro. We're in the middle of an interview. So anyway, so, you know, the whole concept was, oh, wow, wasn't that great, dude?
That's great.
Awesome.
That's great footage.
Awesome. That was great footage. This is going to look good on MTV tomorrow. I am serious. Look for yourself on MTV tomorrow. This is going to be great. That's going to be great. God, I love this shit. Oh, did I just curse?
That's all right. I don't bleep anything. But
dude, we sat on somebody's doorstep. You almost got hit in the head with a bicycle. And somebody got really angry with you. Oh, that was great, dude.
That's because we had an NBC.
Oh, is this CNBC or? Oh, sorry.
But hell yeah, what a great night of music
Tonight was awesome.
together. So why don't we go like a little bit back in time when you all like met each other and like how kind of like really created what Victory Records is now, or was back in the day, especially when many fans out there see it as like, oh, Victory Records, like such a huge label, but it was because of bands like Earth Crisis and Strife.
Yeah, and Tony, the president of the label, was the vocalist of a straightedge band from Chicago called Even Score when he started the label. So we were like, wow, this is going to be great. You know, the guy who runs the label is into the same things we are. He's vegan, he's edge. That's great. It'll be like a good ideological fit, as well as, you know, he's into like more aggressive style of hardcore that we play. And when we signed, you know, I mean, I think Victory had like a very, very impressive roster of like the best hardcore bands like Bloodlet and Buried Alive and No Innocent Victim, and the Strong Comps had like, you know, Coldest Life and Zero Tolerance, and Victory put out the Stigmata full length. So there's a lot of bands on the label that we're really proud to be right there with. And, you know, things change, but I mean, we're doing the same thing with Earth Crisis that we always have, and we're doing the same thing with FREYA that we always have. You know, it's, you know, branch out and express different ideas and keep things fresh for us with the songwriting, you know, incorporating different elements in. And I think when people hear the new FREYA record, I think it's going to be surprising for some people, like how much I think we've kind of progressed with what we can do as far as like tonal screams or leads or solos, or there's a lot that I'm proud of on this release.
As I told you, I've seen Earth Crisis before. I know Earth Crisis, but it was the first time, thanks to Munsey for putting you guys together tonight, because it was the first time I saw you on another chapter of your musicality. Yeah. And it's cool to see.
Yeah, and don't forget, Earth Crisis played Columbia in 2000. It was awesome. We did a Rock in the Park Fest, and I remember we played like a club show that was underground, and I think it was the hottest show we ever played. It was incredible. There was like mist in the air because of, you know, it was so hot. It was crazy.
The fire behind the fence.
Yeah, I guess so. It was pretty cool. And we went, a few years ago, we went back to South America. We played Brazil, Chile, and Argentina. It was awesome. So hopefully we'll get to go back there at some point.
And I think that was what keeps the whole hardcore culture alive and well, because we'll have brothers that have like a band right now in the corner of the street in hardcore music, and we have brothers, of course, that are like rising way ahead. You know what I mean? Like doing huge tours like you guys are, for example, with Earth Crisis. And what's cool about hardcore music, it does never come down to like your popularity. It really comes down to your heart and what you're representing.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, you know, if you look at a band like the Cro-Mags or the Bad Brains, or, you know, what's going on with Sick of It All, like, it's proven now that like hardcore is not like a youth culture. It is like a music-based culture in and of itself. And I think, you know, it's very progressive in the sense that, you know, there's people like exploring and experimenting with different ideologies or different religions. So it's, you know, there's a lot of depth to it.
It has grown since you started doing this.
Yeah. But at the same time, you know, there's some guys out there that have like 10, 15 years on us, and their bands are, you know, strong as hell. So it's a good thing to see happen.
I know everybody sat out on stage tonight, and maybe I kind of did, but thank you so much for the 21 years of sacrificing a lot of sleep, going to a lot of shows, and pushing so many records. It's at least, I mean, I don't want to come up with a number, but it's got to be at least like 10,000 records that you have pushed in the last 20 years.
But it's all good. It's all good. I drank probably more beer than that in the last 21 years, but it's all good. But Mr. Joe, thanks for being part of this tonight, dude. Thanks for coming down, dude. It was awesome, dude. I totally appreciate it. Brother, thank you.
Of course, brother. When you hurt animals for any reason, it's like, why?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, some people are sadistic. It's just a unfortunate reality of life, you know? I mean, they hurt other humans, they hurt animals, they're just vicious across the board. But like I said, you know, if you project positivity, it's gonna come back. And if, you know, you're bringing like hate and cruelty to the world, that karma's gonna come back like a freight train and fucking, you know, crush and level, you know what I mean? I've witnessed it, so it definitely happens.
You want to speak about a story that you like experienced as far as like somebody that you knew that you warned and then it came back to haunt them?
I could. I mean, there's dozens to like, you know, pick and choose from. But I mean, it's as simple as like, you know, people that I grew up with who ended up, you know, going from selling weed to selling, you know, coke to selling fucking harder drugs. And they were riding high for a little while, but after a matter of time, they made like lethal enemies. You know what I'm saying? And some of those guys ended up going to prison, and some of those guys ended up, you know what I mean, getting injured or whatnot. Yeah.
Karl, I want to thank you for all the years of hardship that you've obviously you've endured a lot of years of hardship.
Yeah, this isn't easy. So, you know, thank you to everyone who supports and appreciates Earth Crisis, FREYA, Vehement Serenade, Path to Resistance, and all, you know, the other bands that our members of those groups are a part of. You know, it's like we can't do this without the love and the support that we get from, you know, people who've been fans of what we've been focused on for 20 years. You know, it's pretty amazing too. Like, you know, some people are like, yeah, I saw you guys, you know, for the first time when I was 14, and here I am now all these years later, you know. People have brought like their little brothers. There's actually been some people that have brought their sons to Earth Crisis shows. That's pretty cool, you know. That's really cool.
Are you a father yourself?
Yes, yes, yes.
I am too, so I know exactly what you mean.
All right,
thank you,
bro.
And let's give it up for our family, like Munsey, and people who really care about what we do.
Yup, Munsey definitely has been doing everything within his power to get spins for EC and FREYA over the years, and you know, tonight once again he helped us out. So thank you, bro. Okay.